as general counsel are for the legal department. I'm the chief compliance officer responsible for our compliance initiatives and our compliance department. And then public affairs, which is our arm in Washington, D.C., and really we have public affairs managers all over the country, all over the world, literally, that have relationships with local, state, international, and national governing bodies to ensure that the things that are of concern to us, the interests that we have, are addressed in all of these governing bodies. So, and there's always somebody trying to regulate something that impacts us on a constant basis. It's like I said, a pretty small legal department. These are the attorneys that we have here. The 26 attorneys in the corporate office are all pretty much located here. The rest, the Louisville attorneys support the airline in Louisville, Kentucky. We have attorneys internationally in Brussels and in Singapore, in Hong Kong, Canada, and for the Americas region is based out of Florida, out of Miami. MBE is the franchise group that we purchased, which now we operate under the UPS stores, which many of you are seeing. It used to be mailboxes, etc., MBE, and the parent company is still called MBE. So we have 4 attorneys out in California that support that whole franchise operation, and they truly are franchise stores. So it was the first time the company has gotten into the franchise business, a whole different area of law. MAWA is our technology center. We have several thousands of employees that operate a significant technology center in MAWA, New Jersey. And we have one attorney there that just supports the technology contracts that we, and she actually coordinates outside counsel which support the technology contracts. And then our UPS freight operation is headquartered out of Richmond, Virginia. These are the number of matters that we deal with. Every year we average about 1,700 new matters in litigation, lawsuits, ranging from employment lawsuits to business contracts, package claims, what have you. And then over 5,000 non-litigation matters. And what is that? Bankruptcies, garnishments. We have 300,000 employees. We have a lot of garnishments. It could be requests for documents. Our employees get in a car accident and some lawyer wants to request medical records or wants to request employment verification records. So it could be any sort of document request, any sort of legal proceeding where we're required to respond in some way to some either third party or to a government agency. So those are all of our non-litigation matters. We have a service of process group that does nothing but process all of that on it's about 6 or 8 people that does nothing every day but process all the lawsuits that come in and send them out to the outside counsel. These are the different practice areas that most of our work falls in, and I have attorneys in the legal department that represent us in each of these practice areas. Employment, labor and employment is clearly the largest practice area, but literally a large employer. And the second largest practice area would be general litigation, package claims, and then just business disputes, contracts, etc. Intellectual property, as you can imagine, we go to great extents to protect our brand, the UPS brand. And so we also have a lot of technology that we patent. And so the intellectual property area is a pretty significant area for us in terms of patent protection and prosecution, as well as trademark and brand protection. Then the other areas make up different aspects of our business. The corporate securities area and transactionals area certainly has increased most dramatically since we became a public company. We have a number of law firms that represent us. Before there were, remember I told you we kind of started operating state to state? Well, every time you went to a new state, you got a new law firm. So we had law firms in every state. And so a few years ago, we went through a convergence process and narrowed that down to a few firms that now represent us throughout the country, and we call that our Court Counsel Network. And our in-house attorneys primarily spend their time managing the activities of these outside attorneys. We have significant technology systems in the legal department that help us do what we do. A document management system, a matter management system, which helps us keep track of all the different lawsuits and matters that come in. electronic billing process because we can't take paper bills from all these law firms on all these different matters. And then an internet resource called our extranet site, which we utilize to put information on it that is accessible to our business people as well as our outside lawyers, so that hopefully we can cut back on the amount of phone calls that they send us. And then reporting capabilities. We do a lot of analysis of all the lawsuits to ensure that our outside lawyers are representing us effectively, to determine what are risk areas, to determine where there are policy or procedure changes that need to be made, so to help us avoid lawsuits in the future. And then these are just some of the different areas of law that we have people working in that protect us. This is our corporate transactional practice group. And this is our litigation and international practice group, and we have a number of attorneys that represent us in all of these different areas. Probably the most significant here is our regulatory practice. As you can imagine, we have every number of government agencies that have regulations that impact us in some way or another. And then our labor and employment practice group, which we have 5 attorneys. It's probably the biggest concentrated group of work, which is 5 attorneys that represent us in nothing more than labor and employment matters. And then finally, comp and benefits and just law department administration. So with that, I mean, and just to give you some sense of what's important to us this year, and then I'll close it out and open it up for questions. We've acquired a number of companies over the last several years, and so what we've really been focusing on is integrating all of these companies and making sure that we've done everything to support the business legally and ensuring that we're protecting the rights and have done everything to adequately merge and integrate these companies. So we have a number of attorneys that just focus on that. We're very much engaged in assisting the business and growing the business. That's our key goal this year, is just to grow our business. And so our legal department is involved in helping the business people find ways to do things more efficiently, to do things quicker, contract processes quicker, whatever we can do to help them support the business. Cost. I spend millions and millions of dollars on outside lawyers and in lawsuits. And so a big part of my job is to reduce that cost. And then finally, I have a group of people that I'm responsible for making sure that their careers are developed appropriately and that we are managing the talent that we utilize within the legal department to the greatest efficiency. We got to keep all the lawyers happy and keep them employed and, you know, keep them from jumping out to law firms where they're making so much more money. But, you know, there's a difference. You know, there's a lot of things that we do here that you can't do in a law firm, and our attorneys are much more involved in the business than they would be in a law firm. So there's lots of pros and cons to working inside as opposed to working for a law firm. So we just have to keep reminding them of that. But that's really it. I just wanted to give you a little overview of who we are and what we do in the legal department at UPS. I'll open it up for questions.